What does that mean to you? In our conversation, you said that you believe that you finally got to the place of being successfully single. Now, it's different from being successful while single.
Yeah.
But you said successfully single. What does that mean?
I think I've just really kind of come to a point where I 100% love myself first and foremost, and I no longer take from myself in order to give love to someone else. I give love to myself, and you get the overflow.
I'm on a journey to discover, uncover, and recover love. Now, as a national playwright, I've penned dozens of shows about relationships. As a filmmaker, I've documented the most beautiful committal of lovers at weddings. And as a divorcee, I know firsthand the brevity of marriage and the pain of its loss. I'm LaTerrasar Whitfield, and welcome to the Dear Future Wifey podcast.
Welcome to the Dear Future Wifey podcast. I'm your host, LaTerrasar Whitfield. I believe that every individual should master the state of singleness before ever embarking upon marriage. Today, I have a special guest in studio with me. She's an influencer and very talented writer. One of her IG posts caught my attention a couple of months ago, and we've been friends on Facebook and Instagram for quite some time. Welcome to the Dear Future Wifey podcast, my homie, Tiffany Wade.
Thank you. Hi, I'm so happy to be here.
Tiffany.
Yes.
Now, typically when I have someone, I normally vet people before I bring them on the podcast.
Okay.
And I'll have like a quick little 10-minute conversation with them just to see where their head is at and find out what topic I believe we can discuss.
Okay.
So Tiffany and I had a conversation. I thought it was going to be 10 minutes. We were on the phone for 5 hours.
No joke.
Hours.
It was like 5 hours.
5 hours.
Yeah.
When I say she is a wealth of knowledge, a wealth of insight, and what made her so dope is that you're 100% transparent.
Oh, yeah.
And here on the Dear Future Wifey podcast, we promote transparency. We call it LIT. We want you to live intentionally and transparently.
Absolutely.
And so you qualify.
Thank you.
You passed the test.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, so you
excited.
made it. You made it. So Tiffany,
Jesus.
the post that I'm quite sure you don't know what post I'm talking about that drew my interest to you. So this post that you made, and I actually shared this post with a friend of mine who's going through a breakup. And this post goes back to October the 3rd, 2019. You posted this on Instagram. And I'm going to read it. It says, "They hurt you, they lied to you, and you feel violated. But don't be so hard on yourself. Take a moment. Take this moment of confusion, this moment of isolation, this moment of abandonment, this moment of questioning, this moment of anger, this moment of humiliation, this moment of devastation, and this moment of extreme pain. Marvel at your life, at this grief that will soften you, at this heartache that will wisen you, at this suffering that will strengthen you. Despite everything, you still grow. So be proud of this. Be proud of you. It hurts now, but it will be okay. It has to be. Be kind to yourself in the process. I love you so, so much." Tiffany, when I say that post spoke to my soul,
Yeah.
what provoked this post?
A breakup.
A breakup.
And so it's interesting. So that day, I remember that day. I would have to say, I think I may have probably just, I was in such shock and I was in so much pain. Two of my really, really good friends, Stacy and Shannon, they end up coming to my home, and I was in bed and I had the covers over my head. I was just so heartbroken. And they were upset because they were rooting for this person. They were rooting for me. They were rooting for us. You know, they were aware. And these are friends that kind of tell me what it is. And one of the friends that had came with me, that had been there, I remember a couple months prior had said something that I will never, ever, ever forget for the rest of my life. And I love her for it. I was so angry when she said it because it hurt my feelings so bad. Real. She just said, you know, Tiff, I love you. I know that he loves you and I know that you love him. But at the end of the day, how long are you going to allow yourself to not be loved properly? And
boy, that right there.
I was like,
Lord
excuse
Jesus.
me. I was so offended because I was like, I took it as I didn't love myself. Like I felt so attacked. Like, oh, so you're trying to make it seem like I don't love myself, or I don't allow people. Like, I'm just
so defensive in those moments.
Oh my goodness! But then it lasted probably for about a second, and I kind of thought about it, and I was just like, I don't know. But in sitting with them, it's kind of like they gave me permission to just be completely open and vulnerable and transparent. And I just heard God say, like, you're not alone. Like, you're not by yourself. You're not the first person to get your heart broken. You know, I can only imagine how many heartbreaks my ancestors have had.
Yeah,
so,
for real.
And so in the spirit of me just completely being so authentic as I claim to be, in that moment, I was like, I don't feel like faking the funk. This heartbreak doesn't break me. You know, it does. I'm not broken. There's nothing wrong with me.
This heartbreak doesn't break me.
No.
You know how powerful that is? Oftentimes we allow ourselves to be broken from a heartbreak, and we make ourselves, we convince ourselves that we have lost some level of value. But for you to say, this heartbreak didn't break me, it's powerful. And we all need to walk away with that understanding and knowledge. Today's podcast is called Successfully Single. And so, Tiffany, what does that mean to you? You in our conversation, you said that you believe that you finally got to the place of being successfully single. Now, it's different from being successful while single.
Yeah.
But you said successfully single. What does that mean?
I think I've just really kind of come to a point where I 100% love myself first and foremost, and I no longer take from myself in order to give love to someone else. I give love to myself, and you get the overflow.
Hold on. You gotta let that marinate.
Okay,
because you gotta give people a little moment to digest that. I will allow you to be loved from my overflow.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Go ahead, talk on that.
Ultimately, when you're really loving yourself, other people do love you. They want to love you. They want to give to you. I don't have any expectations on you to just continuously make me happy. I am happy whether you're here or not. And that's going to make someone want to be happy with you and be in that happy space. Because who doesn't want to be happy? Who doesn't want to feel good all the time? So I recognize that. And healing is a really big part of it. So I also want to kind of interject that I was going through my own spiritual journey that had nothing to do with that person.
Yes.
And when you're going through a spiritual journey, like a true spiritual awakening and a recalibration of the mind, like at some point, everybody thinks you're crazy. It's just what it is. You think you're crazy.
Yeah.
And so I can recall prior to October 3rd, we had went on a trip. We went on a golfing trip. And prior to that golfing trip, I had just lost my job. Okay. I'd had a horrible argument with my teenage son, and I had went through something else. That entire week was jacked. So I was looking forward to this weekend to be my relief from everything that had happened. Okay. I was looking forward to us going somewhere and my problems being solved because I'm going to go and interact with someone that I love. And this person is now going to make me happy. I'm unhappy. I've been unhappy all this week. So I need you to fix it.
Yeah.
And, But prior to then, there was some tension between he and I. And so I needed all of our problems to be fixed this weekend. I need my problems with this to be fixed. I need my problem with you to be fixed. You've been acting some kind of way, and I don't know what's going on, but I just know something's going on. And this is how crazy I have the potential to be. He wanted to take a nap.
Come testify.
And I was like, I need you to pay attention to me. Like, you wanting to take a nap subconsciously
felt like
the insecurities was you're rejecting me. You're not available to me. You are rejecting me in this moment, and I need your attention right now. Can't you see I need your attention? I'm not telling you I need your attention.
But you're not telling them why. Exactly. You're not telling them what you had gone through.
Exactly. And I popped off. I just remember going off. Like, I started packing myself. I'm leaving. I mean, just stupid. And he was just like, baby, just come lie down with me. He actually did that. He said, okay, just come lie down with me. I don't want to fight. And I was just like, blah, 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 blah. And it just was that little girl inside of me, that internal scared little girl that said, you are not here to protect me. And I have all these problems. And that was some, healing from childhood trauma that I had to still go through, that I was going through. But in that moment, all that stuff kind of reared its ugly head. And so I remember him getting up and being like, this is too much. And all I heard was, you're too much. And it just became this big, huge thing. And so I say all that to say that when we first met, you know, I was very closed off because I had, you know, gotten out of an abusive relationship. And so my first thinking was like, ain't nobody gonna ever do nothing again to me, this and that, you know, I got to protect myself because no one else will protect me. And I won't say that I thought all men were bad, but I will say that in my mind, you're not going to get the opportunity to abuse me, to misuse me, to try to manipulate me at all. And so, you know, that was something that I kind of had to truly overcome. And it took so many years of doing so. And so I'd say I probably kind of went into really, truly this spiritual journey maybe in 2016. I used to be so angry when I was younger. And it kind of continued into adulthood. Like, I was the person that would totally stop, get out my car and like, you know, and it was like, for what? You know, why? Like, just wanting to fight because I felt like I had to fight through life. I've been fighting my entire life to protect myself. And so one thing I used to always complain about was feeling very unprotected. And that comes from a lot of childhood trauma that I experienced. And so it's interesting because you kind of come to a point to where you genuinely just want happiness. You genuinely just want, I don't know, it's like you just want the weight lifted, the anger lifted, the unforgiveness. Oh my gosh, I had to work on unforgiveness. That was such an issue. And I remember Pastor Evans, was a member of OCBF, and I remember Pastor Evans kind of explained forgiveness and reconciliation and everything. And so I just felt like if I forgave you, that means that you're just going to come and you're going to do it again. And I had to kind of really navigate through that and understand that forgiveness was not about the other person. It's about me, and it's my relationship with God first and foremost.
Have you always been transparent? I mean, openly? Like, would you ever reveal your scars to people?
Oh my gosh. Oh no, what? I used to have such a problem. Like, being vulnerable gave me anxiety. I hated the word vulnerability. So I've always been transparent in the sense that I've always been an open book. You know, I'm very outgoing. I'm a total people person. I love to love on people. I'm fun. And, you know, that's just always been my personality. But to be truly transparent, and that was also something that I will 100% accept responsibility for in this relationship. At some point, I was so closed off, and not closed off like I don't want you to hurt me, but I didn't even want him to know if I was struggling. I didn't want him to know that, you know, I didn't have a whole bunch of money. I didn't want him to know. I didn't even tell him that I had been in an abusive relationship because I was like, you can't get any ideas. Like, I didn't want him to know that I come from a really crazy, messed up family. I was so afraid of people seeing those scars and judging me from them, but mostly because I was judging myself because those were my insecurities. And I didn't really know what it was like to be free, to genuinely walk in your purpose and to just be free, again, to love yourself as God loves you. So
you were on this, you've been on the spiritual journey for a couple of years before the actual breakup happened.
Yes.
After the breakup, what happened? Where did you go mentally, emotionally, spiritually? What happened?
I dove into reflection. Just completely, I would have to say isolation, and not in a negative way, more like solitude, I think. And that was something that I had done anyway. Like, before that breakup, I had gone through all this healing and you know, I'd really come to a point to where I was comfortable with myself. And what's crazy is the whole year prior leading up to that, we were so good. Like, we were doing amazing, which is, I think, why I was so shocked. I was like, how did this happen? Like, we were doing so good. I've healed. What do you mean? Like, didn't you get my healing energy? What? I don't understand. I've healed from my trauma.
But that healing can actually, man, that's a whole message in and of itself.
Yes.
Your healing could actually be the catalyst that says that even, you know, this particular relationship may not be the best relationship for you.
But ultimately, I think it's really, truly just kind of coming to a point to where you find your person, but you can't find your person until you find yourself.
There it is.
You know? So I've found myself, and I'm so comfortable with who I am, and I love myself. Like, I genuinely am, like, in love with myself. And And I feel like when you're in love with yourself, other people can't help but to be in love with you.
That's
too.
absolutely true. That is absolutely true. I always say that not only do we give, our freedom allows other people to be free, but when you're in love with yourself, then people, that love is contagious.
They follow suit,
And so I'm proud of you. For being a woman that has overcome a lot of pain, a lot of anguish, a very tumultuous past. And that past that you've been through is not dictating your present nor your future.
Right.
And you still believe in love.
Oh, of course.
And I absolutely rally behind love. And I'm proud of you for being that type of woman of intentionality, knowing exactly what you want in life and going after it. How can people reach you?
Well, my MySpace. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
That tells my age. So my Instagram is IAM_Tiffany Wade, and then I'm on Facebook just as Tiffany Wade. TIFFANYWADE.
Well, thank you for coming to the Dear Future Wifey podcast.
Thank you for having me.
I really, really enjoyed you. I hope you enjoyed this conversation that I had with Tiffany Wade. We always hear #relationship goals. Well, I believe that there should be a #single goals. And that single goal is to reach a place of freedom, a place of wholeness, a place of healing, and being successfully single. Dear Future Wifey, are you successfully single? Have you established a mindset of contentment in this season of being unwed to me? Have you been actively pursuing those dreams you are to accomplish during your singleness? Before God gifted Adam his helpmate, Eve, he tasked him with naming the animals. My naming the animals task is penning my first movie script in this very podcast. Though I'm enjoying this season of aloneness, you will not have to fight for a place in my life. I will wholeheartedly welcome you with open arms and an open heart free of soul ties. I commit to being totally healed and set free from any and all attachments. That's my definition of being successfully single. Genesis 2:18 states, "And the Lord God said, it is not good that the man be alone. I will make him a helper suitable for him." The wait won't be long. I'm preparing a place for you, a golden throne in my heart, your future hubby. Thank you for listening to the Dear Future Wifey podcast. Remember, be lit, live intentionally and transparently, and don't stop loving. Make sure to subscribe to our Dear Future Wifey YouTube channel. We're available on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and Stitcher. We welcome your support. Simply share our podcast with your friends and family.